Okay. Feel I got some of those links in there. All right, cool. Okay, cool. I think I got all of it. At least everything that I want. Okay. All right, I think. Oh, hang on. Forgot one. Okay. All right. Cool. Ready, dudes? It's time for space news. Let's go. So, we begin space news today because today is a special day. It is a red letter day. No, it's Asteroid Day, June 30th. Asteroid Day is a UN recognized holiday that's kind of overseen, or not oversaw, but that is a day that's designed to promote asteroid awareness. And it's not just asteroid awareness like, oh, you should be aware that an asteroid can come and take you out at any time. Yeah. No, Asteroid Day is a day to basically show that, you know, there's asteroids out there. There's a lot of stuff out in the solar system floating around. Asteroids are one of them. And just because there's a lot of stuff out there doesn't mean that it doesn't necessarily is like it necessarily is something that could, you know, hit Earth or whatever. There's asteroids have tons of uses. Asteroid mining would be another good use of going to asteroids. And today, Asteroid Day basically kind of encompasses that entire plethora of things about like, you know, not only figuring out, you know, like how asteroids kind of came to be formed and why they are the way that they are and where they are in our solar system, but also, you know, promoting awareness, you know, like that we could get taken out by one. I mean, that's part of it, but that's not the whole thing. That's good, Airborne. Nice. Character, 1 year resub. Thank you very much. Astro, that's a 3-month resub. Hey, AJ, sorry if you've covered this before, but have you talked about the study where they map dark matter through AI? Negative. A plethora of piñatas. Piñatas being asteroids. Master, what is a plethora? Beam. Oh, okay. Sí, Jefe. Yes, El Guapo. I say you have a plethora. Jefe, what is a plethora? I do not know. You are so much smarter and prettier than I am. See the post on the extending nozzle for KSP? I did. Yep. Asteroid Day. Let me finish that up. Asteroid Day has a lot of stuff going on their channel. Remo, thank you for posting the link in chat. Where they're covering asteroid stuff for the next 4 days. I mean, Asteroid Day is started by B612, the B612 Foundation. And I'll admit, I don't know this completely off the top of my head, so I do need to read. It was co-founded by, well, the first part I don't think I really need to read. And somehow I just... Asteroid Day was co-founded by a guy by the name of Dr. Brian May. Yes, that Brian May. Like that. So, he's the lead guitarist for Queen, or was the lead guitarist for Queen. Yeah, seriously, yeah. Asteroid Day is co-founded by Brian May. Now that I knew that part, and it there's also astronauts on it. Rusty Schweikert from Apollo 9, and the B612 Foundation president Danica Remy And what the whole asteroid day thing is designed to educate the public about how asteroids, like basically what asteroids do in our solar system, why they're there, what they could do, what we could use them for, and everything. So today is UN recognized holiday of Asteroid Day, which is pretty cool. And yeah, for the people that don't know, Brian May, the lead guitarist of Queen, was going to school to be an astrophysicist, and he stopped to rock and roll. Yeah, I'd say he met some success. I'd say he was met with some success. And then after, after Queen stopped touring in, well, not stopped touring, but after their initial run, we'll say, rip Freddie. Brian May went back to school, and he has a doctorate in astrophysics. Queen's a bunch of nerds. Yeah. Just thought I'd let you know. He's had a little modicum of success. Yeah, Astro. Mm-hmm. Dude, Brian May is really, really freaking smart. So go check out their Twitch channel. No, anyway, yeah. Yeah, that's right. The same guy that wrote Tie Your Mother Down is responsible for Asteroid Day. So, what we will do for Asteroid Day is, on top of you checking out their Twitch channel, dude, they have all kinds of physicists, astronauts, all going on in their channel, and kind of the panels keep going basically until the 4th. So, be sure to go and check that stuff out. What we're going to do in Kerbal is I'm going to do an asteroid redirect. And we're gonna see if we can launch that Sentinel and visit some satellites. So this happened at T-minus 2 minutes before the Falcon 9 launch. Okay. Can we talk about the guy cutting straight through the TFR minutes before the T2 launch? Entered a relatively steep dive and now hasn't responded to transporter pings for 10 minutes. Yeah, I don't know. I can't speak to that. I have no idea what that is, nor do I really care. That's, yeah. What am I supposed to do with this news, Forge? Anyway, like, what am I supposed to do with that news? What do you want me to do with this? Some guy may have shut off his transporter and violated his transponder on his airplane and violated the TFR while Falcon 9 was launching. Do you want me to report that as space news? No. We're not like them. We're not like them. We are not them. Can we discuss the dark matter mapping AI study? Astro, probably not on this space news. I have here, take a look. Look at all the tabs up there. That's all different stories. So we got some work to do. So let's jump into it. So yesterday at around 7 Eastern time, Progress 78 was launched out of the Baikonur Cosmodrome. This is Progress MS-17. Here's a good replay. Here, check this out. Really, really great launch. Very good. That drone shot, though. Lighting up the sky. Lighting up the sky. Lighting up the sky. Lighting up the sky. So yeah, because it launched at dusk, it had a really awesome jellyfish, not mushroom, really awesome jellyfish effect. Watch this. Yeah, Vulcan, you see it take a left at that landing bird? You see it take a left and come in and land? Looks ridiculous, doesn't it? Pretty loud, huh? It's pretty awesome. Ракетоноситель в норме. Watch this. So this is a replay from yesterday, the Progress launch. Yeah, everyone. Параметры конструктора ракетоносителя в норме. Ангаж, рыскание, вращение в норме. Okay, stand by. Okay. First stage cut off. Where's the jellyfish? You'll see it. Everybody does that, Konnichiwa. It really depends on the launch window. It's not so much depending on clear day or clear as night. It really much more depends on, you know, when... If you're launching into an inclined orbit, it depends on when that orbital plane crosses the launch center. And that could be at night, it could be during the day, and in terms of weather conditions, it's clear conditions are preferable, but some rockets can take off in a blizzard. Airborne, you can jump back in the VOD if you want to check that out. I watched it like 6 or 7 times in a row. Are those strobes on the boosters? No, the boosters are flipping end over end. So you're just seeing the reflection. That's the jellyfish. There it is. Well. Fairing separation, I think I saw it there for a second. Winds, Gully. Very nice. Stand by for the hot stage. Hot staging confirmed. There you go. Interstage separation. Perfect. Stand by for payload deploy. This is cut a little bit. This is all cut up. A number of minutes after that. Third stage will flame out, separate the spacecraft, and vent to push itself away. Spacecraft separation confirmed. That's awesome. Stand by, and then
we have confirmation of third stage shutdown. And as you can
There's
see
the third
on
stage.
your
See
screen,
ya.
progress separation, progress 78, now flying free.
And click.
Solar arrays now unfurling.
Cool. So Progress 17 did launch up, or Progress MS-17 did launch up into space, and it is scheduled to get to the ISS tomorrow. Should be there tomorrow. Where is the rest of that? Hold on. That's going to go over there. I'm sorry, I'm sifting through everything. Here we go. So Chris B from NSF posted something. Here, check this out regarding this. Roscosmos is concerned with potential Progress MS-17 conjunction events 3.5 hours before docking. Starlink 1691 satellite, approximately at a distance of 1.5 kilometers, and fragment of a Falcon 9 launch vehicle launched in 2020 at a distance of about 500 meters. Okay. The comments are kind of, yeah, don't read them. Don't look into the trap. Ray, I'm looking into the trap. He slimed me. Oh, that's great! What a great sample! Yeah. Actual paranormal physical activity. Well, people don't know that you have to launch at a certain time to reach the ISS. SpaceX was there first. Your move. Oh. Okay. Yeah, I've lost enough brain cells for the day. I don't need to read that thread anymore and hemorrhage more brain cells. Okay, the other launch that happened here is Tubular Bells from Launcher 1, so Virgin Orbit. Check this out. So, if you're unfamiliar with this, hey Rocketology, thank you for the raid. Watch this from this moment. Yeah, here, well, let me take a look. Great separation footage. Very nice. Hey, Rocketology, what's going on? How are you? Thank you for the raid, buddy. What were you up to? It's a tensioner rod, Buck. It's a tensioner rod from one of the Starlink deploys. Better footage. Yeah, I'm working on it, Thomas. I haven't even shown any footage yet. You... Stop it. Stop that. Hey, someone's showing off a famous hat. Well, it would be a good time to, say that they gave me this hat. Not bad. Did some BattleTech today. Back to JNSQ tomorrow. Cool, man. Right on. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. Pretty good. No, I've been actually, I've been talking with the people over at B612 with Asteroid Day, and I wanted to do the redirect mission in Kerbal. Just show people what we could do with asteroids if we get a spacecraft that can get out there. We did direct descent to Duna missions yesterday. Nice. Very cool. All right, so if you're unfamiliar with Virgin Orbit has the Launcher 1. Launcher 1 is a small sat launcher, so that's the payload fairing right there. But if you notice, this isn't on a launch pad. It's not on a launch pad. Yeah, but it's not on a launch pad, but you are looking at the launch vehicle. The launch vehicle that launches the spacecraft launch vehicle. No, it's actually dropped off of a 747. This is Cosmic Girl. It's a 747-400. And attached to the fifth pylon, they have a rocket launcher that can shoot payloads off into space. It's a mobile launcher platform. Yep. Yep. So, check this out. Here's some footage from the cast a little bit earlier today. Let's get to the good stuff. Here's the good stuff. Watch this. Separation confirmed from the 747. Stand by for ignition. There's the ignition. And here we go. See if we can see the 7-4 over there. There it is. There's Cosmic Girl. That's cool. Yep, this launch happened this morning. Is this the rocket cam? This is a camera on the rocket. Yes. Mm-hmm. Fly that sucker all the way up into space. And they did make it on orbit. Second successful consecutive for them. So this was the second time they've done this, and this mission was successful. There's satellite dispensers right there at the top.
Go and throttle up.
I was worried about the Weeble Wobbles there. Why? The wings will take care of it. A clip you might like. A clip that's been linked already that I already have. Yeah, Forge, I got it, my dude. I have it. Yeah. It's the next thing, and it's the next thing that we're going to look at after I showed you this. Keep it in your pants, my dudes. Watch this. Yours is probably actually better quality than this because this has been compressed through Twitter video. I'll actually use yours. Later. There's an ignition right there. No, I mean, after release, the rocket rolled several back and forth. Yeah, and the wings stabilized it out. Yeah, it's no problem. How are you going to roll? What? Okay, all right, Blue. I probably should have said this a little bit differently. How are you going to control roll? You have one engine. It's fine. It's totally, I mean, there's not many ways to get around that. You know what I'm saying? Is there anybody with a cowboy hat riding the thing? Maybe. No, I don't think so. Maybe, unless they're in the payload fairing. So, check this out. I just want to make it very clear, like, this is a great shot and everything, but also look at the horizon. This 7-4 is way nose up in the air. Did you do space news on Falcon 9 crew launch into space? They took out a satellite with a car and a rocket engine lol. Yeah, Airborne, I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know what that means, man. What do you, what? I don't understand. What altitude do they detach at? Well, Karate, that's way up there, dude. It's somewhere above 30,000 feet. I don't know the exact altitude, but that 747's definitely climbing. I mean, we're like 40 degrees angled up right now, which is bananas for a 747. And there they go. Let the thing yeet off the side. And then there's an ignition. And then the 747 peels off, which is nuts, dude. Oh, look at that camera. That's so cool. Pretty righteous footage. So that was the second successful mission. Virgin Orbit is another small satellite competitor trying to capture small sat payloads, because I guess that's where the profitability is in the launch business nowadays. SpaceX with the Transporter 2 mission that launched at the beginning of this stream that we watched showed that off pretty well. You see all those little small satellites. If you have something that's really quick and easy to make for a rocket, it's all relative, remember that. If you have something that's really quick and easy to make, it's you know, you can afford to fly more because bigger rockets are exponentially harder to build. So if you have something small, in particular you have a launch pad that's also very mobile, like a 747, a launch pad that doesn't require much maintenance, you can achieve a high frequency of launches. So yeah, Virgin Orbit's trying to capture some small sat stuff, small sat market share right there, which is pretty cool. So this was reported by Joey Roulette after the fact. The team did a phenomenal job, says CEO Dan Hart on Virgin Orbit's live feed before the satellites are deployed. Richard Branson is clearly happy about this as well. Dan wasn't expecting it. He's like, seems pretty happy there. And then there was an interview. There was an interview a little later where the interviewer asked Richard Branson about Blue Origin as competition, and he said, Jeff who? Yeah, so Richard Branson just also continuing the Jeff who meme. I know a guy that flies on that plane. That's cool, Dire Tiger. Really neat. Pretty awesome. Okay. So, that's going to go over there. There's that. There's that. There's that. Don't need that. Alright, so this is coming from Dutch Space over here, this next bit of news here. So, Dutch Space posted some pictures of the VV-19 Vega stacking operations, which is pretty cool. That's them putting the second stage on top of the first stage there. Oh, look. Thrust vector controllers. Anyway, really nice footage. Not crossing the wires, I hope. I don't know what you mean, man. Awesome. All right, so next bit is that the other day up on the ISS, the Cygnus separated. They separated the Cygnus spacecraft from the ISS, and I thought this picture was pretty rad, so thought I'd show it. It's just a joke. Yep. Pretty awesome right there. Goodbye, trash can. Yeah. And that's exactly what it'll do. Cygnus will then deorbit, and basically what they do is they put their trash in there. Yeah, the ISS burns the trash in the form of spacecraft that re-enter without any heat shield. Yeah, you could say that craft is full of poop. Also, them solar panels. Them circular solar panels. Yeah, poo, laundry, any discarded stuff. Alright, so that's a really awesome picture. Can we see what they're over by any chance? Hard to say. No discernible features. I mean, there's some farmland right there. That's about it. They're over Earth? Nah, I don't know about that. Well, I guess the space station city wouldn't need a landfill. Well, that's why they call it space, because, well, there's a lot of it. So Tori Bruno was told the other day to see if he could look into releasing an infographic about all the different variants of Atlas V, and he did deliver, as per usual. Check this out. Complete with all of the slang terms. So there's Slick Atlas, there's Slider, Twister, Noisemaker, Big Slider. Anti-M, nice. Thunderer, Dominator, Bruiser, and Bodyguard. Oh, boy. Yep. It shows all the different missions that each variant of this has ran before, which is pretty cool. cool. Atlas has 6 different types of fairings over 2 different variants, so there's 3 different types of this fairing and there's 3 different types of that fairing. It can have 2 different types of upper stages, and it can have up to 5 boosters attached to the side of the core stage. In the 400 series variant, only 3 boosters maximum, because that payload fairing won't like more boosters. Asymmetry with rockets looks bad. Big slider. 501. Yeah, they'd use 501s to launch the They use 501s to launch the X-37. Max number of boosters is 5, Hip. They can't fit 6 on there. Atlas's raceway and external fuel line are in the way. You can't fit 6. Only 5. Yep. Atlas is an asymmetric launch vehicle. Well, kind of asymmetric. Kind of is, but it kind of isn't. Still really awesome, though. Vulcan will have... Yeah, Vulcan will bring that symmetry in because of an internal downcomer. So yeah, you won't have to worry about that. Pretty awesome, though. All the different variants of the mighty Atlas V. This one is going to be the next one to fly, believe it or not. We're flying a bodyguard on the 30th, in about a month, actually. We should see the second Starliner orbital flight test, which would be pretty awesome. And once again, this goes to show you, like I said, that this is a damn Lego kit. Yeah, Rocketology, for what it is, it's pretty insane. I mean, what other rocket do you know can fly with 2 different types of fairings, 2 different types of upper stage and up to 5 boosters, depending on the variant, and also can launch people into space? Well, not yet, but soon. It's pretty crazy. Bodyguard looks aerodynamically unbalanced. That's what the skirt is for Starliner. That's what it's there for. They're almost all weird. I like the Dominator. The Dominator is my favorite. That's the coolest looking one. It reminds me of Buran Energia. It's pretty cool. It crashed for you guys too? Huh. PK had a resub in there. 55 months. Sorry, I looked over at the alert. Keep up the good work. Thanks, PK. Yeah, the Dominator is sick. That's my favorite. Slider is cool too. Dominator is the Percy rocket. Yep. Pretty cool, huh? I think a bird just flew into my window. Huh. Twitch stuttered, it seems. How can you like 541 over 551? 551's cool, but I think Dominator's a better name. Still have a big problem with non-reusable rockets. Well, you're gonna have a big problem with them, but you're gonna have a big problem with them for some time because they ain't going anywhere. Nah, probably another Wasp. They want revenge. Dude, the thing is, Mason, it sounds like something hit the window, and then it sounds like something big fell onto the ground because the whole building shook for a second. Like somebody dropped something. My AC didn't fall out the window, did it? Nope. I'm about to look out the window. That was strange. Anyway, we'll keep going. No truck stream. What? Maka, this week I only did a truck stream on Tuesday. Anyway, let's keep going. So the next thing is coming from Relativity Space. Relativity is the company that is a launch provider that hasn't launched anything into space just yet, but they are They are looking to revolutionize rocket launch manufacture by 3D printing rockets, initially as a small sat launcher and then eventually as something that Relativity Space's CEO Tim Ellis has said will rival Falcon 9. Relativity rolled out with a fully reusable two-stage launch vehicle that will be 3D printed that will basically compete with Falcon 9. At least that's what they said. So here, check this out. Good, we got some interesting news from them. Relativity Space, we're expanding. Relativity Space is excited to announce a new 1 million square foot headquarters factory in Long Beach. That's a 93-acre form. No! They bought McDonnell Douglas's aircraft factory. Holy crap. Try restarting the stream. You can. There's no problems on my end, Airborne. I'm monitoring my connection to the ingest server. It's on your end, not mine. Alright, anyway. It's just a hiccup in the server. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It'll be back. So it says Boeing C-17 right there, right? But the C-17 wasn't always Boeing's plane. The C-17 was made by McDonnell Douglas. This is where McDonnell Douglas manufactured aircraft in Long Beach for the longest time. When McDonnell Douglas and Boeing merged, it became Boeing's C-17 plant. That's Long Beach Airport right there. And Relativity scored the manufacturing facility. Alright, we gotta go to Google Earth real quick. Look at how crispy you are! Yo, Haas, what's good, man? Look at how crispy I am? Yeah, dude, I improved my lighting so I didn't look like a dead person. But I also went on vacation, so yo, you wanna see this? Look at this, bro. Look at this. Oh no! Haas, what's going on, man? How you doing? I'm not dead. You guys know my buddy Haas. He does GTA RP. What's going on, dude? How are you? Long time no see. I got a real farmer's thing going on right now. Hey, you're not a farmer. You don't know that. Nah, I'm from the city, man. I'm not a farmer. Bring out your dad. Oh, hey, I've driven by that hangar when I flew into Long Beach Airport and wonders what was going on. There were lots of commotion and secrecy there 2 to 3 months ago. Cool. So who's the money behind Relativity? Relativity actually has investors, man. They closed a huge round of funding very recently. Bummed I didn't see you in Connecticut. Dude, do you have, Haas, do you have Discord on your phone? Because I shot you a Discord message. Dude, I was awake. I should have just gone, but I was super busy that day. But yeah. I didn't get a message back from you, so I'm just like, man, I'm gonna go back to sleep. No. Next time, though, dude. It's all good. You farm science knowledge, and we are your humble patrons. You'll be back there again soon? Right on, man. Right on. Yeah. Hassan, hopefully I'll be more out and about once the world stops getting crazy. You know what I'm saying? Or you can come see the new Hoonigan HQ. Yeah. Actually, hang on, man. Let me shoot you a message here real quick. Yeah, don't tell anybody, man. You like that keyboard ASMR? Keyboard typing noises. Anyway, yeah, man, it's good stuff. Terms of service. Dude, I shot you a message over in Discord. Yeah, just keep that on the DL. Please stop? Why? Why? Mechanical keyboards are horrible. Thanks for your opinion. Anyway, let's go in here. I want to take a look at Long Beach Airport. Over here. So, McDonnell Douglas. Okay, let's take a look. This is the facility right here. I think that's the one that they scored. Let's check the renders. Either way, Haas, it's good to see you, my dude. Good to see you. Okay, so the diagonal runway is right there. Okay, so yeah, ridiculous. All right, so it looks like this is the one here. McDonnell Douglas had a huge presence in Long Beach for the longest time. It wasn't just that. They had aircraft factories this was all MDD. Look. See? Look at this. This is a picture from 94 right there. Look at all the MD-11s on the line right there. And I think those are MD-88s right there. I can't tell though. This was all McDonnell Douglas. All this stuff. I don't know what it is now. But it looks like one of the factories over here where they were producing C-17s. See? Globemaster 3s right there. Relativity scored it. Oh, that's so cool. That's a big factory, dudes. That's a very big factory. Not the keyboard, I mean the sound they make. The tech is good. Okay. Take a look here. Oh boy, Thomas, let's not go too far off today, okay? I love technology. Google Earth is the best, dude. Take a look here. Okay. Dad paid for the in-laws house. They both worked on C-17s. Cool. Now change the date. All right. What am I looking at? I see, okay. There will be a 747 there that you recognize. Okay, we're gonna need to go over here. Hey, there's Cosmic Girl. Neat. Anyway, so Relativity scored this production facility, which is pretty nuts. Pretty nuts. Once again, that's where C-17s were made. C-17s used to roll out of here. I forget what the production run for those Globemasters 3s were, but they're pretty high. Is this the Fly DC Jets building? I'm not sure. Let's take a look. Man, that is a big facility. Relativity isn't screwing around, dudes. $279 C-17s were produced. Alright, cool. I don't know if it's the same. Let me see. Fly DC Jets. Let's look at Google Earth. We should be able to see it. I don't think that's the same building. It might be, though. So are they assembling them and rolling them across town? Yeah, I'm not 100% on that one. I'm gonna guess, since it's Falcon 9 size, that it's probably no, it's not the same building. There's the building right there. Like I said, McDonnell Douglas had a huge presence here for the longest time. Like all of this between the two golf courses, everything in between, which is pretty crazy. If they want to paint orbital class rockets, they need a giant printer and therefore a giant building. Yep. If they want to print them. Yep. That's right. That's really freaking cool. And it looks like they scored all of this. So, here, let me plot it out. It looks like they scored that lot. That's a big production facility. Like I said, C-17s were made there. Is there a drone south of the building? No. I don't think so. How will they print the rocket? Horizontally? I'm not sure. Oh, it looks like there's a Rutan plane right there. Looks like you got a couple of, maybe a Beechcraft, Piper. That could be another Beech though. It's hard to tell. The photogrammetry is not the best when it comes to imaging a plane, but it's good enough, I guess. Where did they make the C5? Lockheed made the C5. I think it was Palmdale. Just got back. Is that Long Beach? It is, Vagelin. Check this news out. So we're looking at the C-17, the old C-17 production facility, right? Look at this. Check this bit of news. Relativity bought a 1 million square foot headquarters in Long Beach. A 93-acre C-17 manufacturing plant. They're going to use that to print their rockets. It's a big production facility. Relativity definitely has the money to throw around, dude. Their funding round was bananas. So that's cool, man. I think the C5 was Palmdale, I think. Palmdale is over here. Oh, Marietta. Yeah, this way. What if Elon threw secret money at it? They're considering that their CEO has publicly stated that they're going to compete with SpaceX. I don't think that's what's going on. It seems like we should be able to spot a C5 production facility. Yep, I'm going to go ahead and guess that that's it. And it says Lockheed Martin on it. There you go. No. We don't need this taxiway to go here. We need it to go there. They make C-130s in there now? Cool. That's a big factory, man. That's a big one. It's one of the bigger ones that I've seen. It's not the biggest dish. We know what the biggest is, but that's still pretty cool. Oh, was there a runway there? Or is that just a parking lot? I don't think there was a runway there. Timeline me! Nope, just a parking lot. I'm a bit less than sober. What's up, Laserman? How are you? What do we got over here on the ramp? Anything? Just UH-60s. Yeah, that's probably why. When I was in the ROTC, we went up there and took a C-130 flight up to the North Georgia mountains. Coolest thing ever. I am just a little bit jelly. Yep. What model are we on the C-130? It's a C-130H, right? The C-130H and the C-130J? Something like that. We've made so many different variants of that plane. It's a beast mode of a plane, though. I am protesting no CH-47. It's a National Guard base. It's not Army. Hey. I don't know. I don't know where there's a Chinook base near here. Not that it matters because it's in Google Earth, but... Yeah. Biohazard, that'd be pretty cool. Do they make new C-130s? don't know. Yep, they still make them. I mean, it's per Wikipedia, so the C-130J, they still freaking make them. Making them for almost 70 years? It's a good plane. What do you want? Like, why change it? The C-130, seriously, they're great planes. C-130s don't need a runway. You can land them on whatever. You can land them on a dirt road. Anywhere that's flat. Flat enough, I should say. You could, look at that. The thing, you could do anything with those things. The C-5s are also, they keep upgrading the C-5s. The C-5 is, yeah, look, check this out. The last C-5B was produced more than 30 years ago, 32 years ago. They're still good. The design doesn't need to be upgraded. It's good at what it does. I mean, the oldest C-5s are from 1968. What do you want your plane to do? Yes. Uh-oh, I hope my power doesn't go out. We got some Tunda boomers. Didn't the C5 have fatigue problems initially? Yeah, that's why they rolled out the, what is it, the C5A, right? Super Galaxy is insane. Yeah, that's the newest one, I believe. Wait a minute. The L500? Lockheed also planned a civilian version of the C5 Galaxy. The L500, the company designation also used for the C5 itself. Both passenger and cargo versions of the L500 were designed. The all-passenger version would have been able to carry up to 1,000 people, while the all-cargo version was predicted to be able to carry typical C5 volume for as little as 2 cents per ton mile in 1967 dollars. Although some interest was expressed by carriers, no orders were placed for either L500 version. Due to operational costs caused by low fuel efficiency, it is a significant concern for profit-making career, even before the oil crisis. Keen competition from the 747 and high costs incurred by Lockheed in developing the C5 and later the L1011, which led to the government rescue of the company. Whoops! So I worked on a C-130 7-4-1668, then jumped out of said C-130 when I went into the Army. Nice. Cool, cool. Boston is under a severe thunderstorm warning. Yeah, oh, I can hear it. Once we were up in the air, the loadmaster let us unbuckle in groups and walk around the cargo bay. When my group got up, we hit an air pocket and we came up off the floor briefly. It was like a mini vomit comment moment. Yes. Awesome. I'll talk about that, Joe. But yeah, Relativity bought that big factory, man. So, throughout the news today, it's also a day of remembrance. Today is the day, it's the, what is it, Joe? It's the anniversary of Soyuz 11. Soyuz 11 was a crew that launched on June 30th, 1971, and I gotta read it, guys. I know about Soyuz 11, but I didn't, I don't know the details. Yeah, it was coming back down in 1971, and the capsule depressurized during re-entry, killing all three on board. Georgy Dobrovolsky, Vladislav Volkov, and Viktor Patsiev. Yeah. So it's a day of remembrance, you know, people that, folks like these guys were cavaliers that paved the way to make spaceflight as safe as it is nowadays. So, important note of remembrance to folks that ventured into the howling dark and did not return. Anyway, respect to those guys. So, let's see. Let's see. Alright, so we got some Starship stuff here. The C-130 can do this, okay? Yeah, it can land on a carrier. No, I know. Oh boy. Hopefully it'll cool us off. That rain will cool us off a little bit. Can you hear the thunder? You better run. You better take cover. Alright. So, check this out. Let's flip over to Starship news here. So, during the Falcon 9 launch, Tim posted this picture of Falcon 9 coming back from boost back, and it's, you know, I just thought you guys would want to see this real quick. Just check this out.
Land for an 8th time. This is a great shot.
One of the gnarliest landing shots I've ever seen, despite Falcon being a little bit off the, screen.
Stage 1, London leg deploy.
So, Tim posted that, and it is awesome footage. And Elon replied to him. He said, great shot. By the way, Starship Super Heavy will not have an entry burn. Delta V is more shifted to the ship, so booster entry pressure and heating is lower. Have you seen this video from Maston? No. Oh, that's pretty cool. I'll have to check that out, Core. So, Elon's just dropping some facts about Starship that we just unsolicited, that we just casually didn't know. So, he's saying that Super Heavy will not do an entry burn. So it won't. So Falcon 9, when it comes back, it goes through an entry burn, where once it starts hitting the atmosphere, the really thick parts of the atmosphere, it fires the engine to slow it down. But it doesn't just slow the booster down. The rocket expelling gases out the front end, out the business end of the booster, and the rocket flying backwards actually helps push re-entry heating away from the vehicle. It basically does exactly what a heat shield would do. Very similar. The phenomenon is called supersonic retropropulsion. No, supersonic retropropulsion is what it's called. And if I ever start a metal band, that's what it's going to be named.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Elon is saying that Super Heavy will not have to do supersonic retropropulsion because the entry pressure, the dynamic entry pressure on the booster and heating is lower. What that means in plain English, guys, is that Super Heavy will have a very short burn time. It won't go too far from the pad, so to speak. Starship will do the majority of the ascent, which is pretty insane. What can I buy a supersonic retropropulsion to? I don't know. Hey, Overdrive, 30-month resub. Thank you very much. So, and then another Twitter user, Renata Concali, I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name right, asked Elon, when will the first orbital Super Heavy have grid fins? And Elon says the first one to fly will, so Booster 4. Booster 3 will be used for ground testing. We're changing much of the design from 3 to 4. Booster 3 was very hard to build. Expect especially rapid evolution in the first 10 booster iterations and first 30 Starship iterations. It also sounds like it means Super Heavy will have better dry mass ratio, so a lower ballistic coefficient. I guess, yeah, Max, that makes sense. I mean, if it's not going to carry landing legs and stuff, sure, yeah, absolutely. Plus, Starship can straight up resist more heating than aluminum lithium alloys. Yeah, something like that. Something like that. So interesting bits of knowledge being dropped here. Huh. Anyway. Elon had more to say about it. Give me 1 second. Let me go to tweets and replies. So he said rapid reusable rockets. R with a pirate logo. What's up, PY? How you doing? There's a considerable performance increase between KSP 11.2 and 1.12. 11.2 hasn't come out yet, Phone Sister. It's just... Wait, I'm confused. 11.2 and 1.12. The newest version? Are you sure? Anyway. The Jolly Roger is a flag, not a logo. Oh boy, more semantics. Lovely. Alright, so Michael Sheets asked, is SpaceX spending much time or money refurbishing Falcon 9 boosters between launches, or is it just cleaning and inspecting still? I know 10 reflights was the expected milestone for needing significant refurbishment, in which case Elon replies, work needed between flights is less and less, as shown by shortening time between reflights. Required work between flights for Starship and Super Heavy is 0. I don't know if it's a new Unity version. I forget, actually. I guess. I haven't seen any particular increases, but we'll figure it out. So, what SpaceX is trying to do here is, with Starship and Super Heavies, basically get it to fly like an airplane. It isn't anything we don't know, but it still is cool to see.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Little Crossways, 34-month resub. It is a new version. Thanks, Max. All right. Here, Chad Bowman says, Tori Bruno, can you compete with this? Do you fear Vulcan might be dead on arrival, or does Vulcans have some other advantages? And Tori Bruno says, yeah, already have.
Discovery, go at throttle
1
up.
over 30 missions. No, many. TB weighing in. Phone Sister gifted a sub to a Savage Swan. Welcome to Mission Control. You're going throttle up. Cool. Alright, so let's go and take a look. Chris B. from NASA Spaceflight posted this. This was a picture that was taken by Mary here. A booster forward section and a ship aft skirt was stacked in front of Tent 1, potentially for a separator test. So, I have a picture of this. Take a look. That looks like a strut from a car. So there's some kind of hydraulic in there, and then there's a pretty hefty spring around it. It looks like a coilover. Freaking coilover. What the heck is... What the heck? I'm confused. Yep. Nope. Chris says some kind of separation test, I guess. Spring-loaded pushrod? Yeah, baby. Huh. The hold downs between Starship and Super Heavy look to be hinged. The piston pulls the hold down inwards to allow the ship to release. How did you extrapolate that from what you see here? Oh, I see it. Never mind. It's like... But why the spring then? I'm confused. It doesn't push on the injector. It pushes on the nozzle, Pacey. There's actually 4 of them. There's one in the center, which is what we see, and then there's 3 on the separator mechanisms. They're in 3x symmetry on Falcon 9. The spring keeps pressure on the hold down in the skirt of the ship. Spring is a damper? Well, springs don't dampen things, Bio. Dampers dampen things. The spring keeps pressure on the hold down in the skirt of the ship. So let's draw it. So if we're looking at the side here, this is the side of Super Heavy. And here's the other side. I would assume this has some kind of latch in it, right? We have a bracket that mounts here with a, well, not a heim joint, just a hinge. And then you have that hydraulic, right? That looks stupid. You have the hydraulic with a line out, right? And then there's a line in, right? That's doesn't look right at all. And then you have, it looks like a coilover. Then you have your spring, and then the hat for the spring, right? And then the hydraulic goes up and through, and it looks like it attaches to a hinge right here, and then there's also a hinge right here. And this is a triangulated piece right here with a latch there, like that. So as this hydraulic goes up and down, this piece rotates inward. Am I looking at that? Windmills do not work that way. You can see hinge back on this left image. Okay. Okay, there's your latch. Huh. At least I think that's what I can tell from this. Yeah, see, there's your latch. So yeah, this is close. And then the spring will keep that thing held forward. Well, the hydraulic would do that though. Yeah, as a failsafe. I read it yesterday, Airborne. Great thread. Where are my engines, though? Interesting. So if you lose pressure, the spring holds the pressure? The hydraulic, Rex and X, the hydraulic is bound. The spring is the rebound. It'll keep everything level that way. I mean, I suppose that makes sense. I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know why you'd want to use that as a... Anyway, I think that's right. Yeah, that sounds correct. And then the spring perch would be attached to here then. Yeah, it is. Yeah. What's the connect? Is it the connection between Super Heavy and Starship? That's what I'm guessing. They're testing the decoupling mechanism. That's an interesting way to do that. What powers the hydraulics? Hydraulics? Battery, an electric motor could be turning a hydraulic actuator, or turning a hydraulic pump. Gamer fuel, sure. Actually, that could be pneumatic. Those look like air hoses, not... they look like air hoses, not hydraulic hoses, but I could be wrong. Huh. Strange. Studied vehicle dynamics. So Rex, are you telling me that... So somebody said, I think Bio, you said it, that the spring is being used as a damper? But isn't spring the opposite of that? EJ learning time. Is the spring in this scenario being used for, if it's being used for rebound, then it is being used as a damper. But springs don't dampen. You have sinusoidal repleneration with springs. Obviously, Fun Sister. Springs could dampen. Yeah, I guess you're right. I gotta get my brain out of car mentality and into dynamics mentality. Anything is technically a damper. It's just how quickly it dampens. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right, Bio. Yeah, you're right. That's a good point. Can springs be used to push Starship away? It's possible, Crafter, but you're going to need one big freaking spring. It's probably better to use pneumatics. They'd probably be lighter. Looks like the same types of hold downs is used on the suborbital pads. See, Thomas, that kind of... Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. Dude, I had a theory a long time ago that I'll bet you that the decoupling mechanism that they're using here is the top, basically the suborbital pads are a really, really rough sketch of Super Heavy's interstage. It looks like, I don't think I was 100% right on that, but definitely the latching system, because that is the latching system. Interesting. Maybe there are 8 more sprigs like it. I think so, Kiranov. Yeah. I think so. I think there's, wherever there's a latch, so there's 6 of them. There's 6 of these things, so there would be one there, another one there, and then 3 more on the other side. We're looking at the top of a booster moto, and it seems to have the separator mechanism, or this is not a separator, this is a delatch. This is the delatching mechanism. And I can only assume, and once again, this is a guess, this part is a guess, so I don't know for sure. I can only assume that this is the top of a Super Heavy, or top of what Super Heavy would look like. So this is the very top of the first stage for Starship. Chris B over at NASA Spaceflight showed this picture, and it looks like this part looks like the bottom of Starship, and this, I can only assume, would be the top of Super Heavy. Could the spring be used to push it away? I'm not sure, Punzister. I think that's a separator motor. Or that's not separator motor, that's the separator mechanism. So in this scenario, I'm not sure how the spring could be used to dampen the latch mechanism and also push the vehicle away. I don't know. I don't know. Massive NASCAR news. Chip Ganassi sold his ownership to Trackhouse Racing. I heard about that, Bandit. What the hell is Trackhouse Racing? I don't know what that means. Trackhouse was founded by Justin Marks and Pitbull. They're not going to use the same mechanism as on Falcon 9. I don't... Yes, Superfan, maybe. Yeah. Huh. Ganassi's website is getting stormed right now. Probably didn't help that I mentioned it. Could the spring be a backup? It's not pushing in the right direction for it to be a backup, guys. What if the spring is always loaded and the hydraulic is to release the latch? It's possible. I don't think that's what we're looking at here, though. What did you think of the Virgin Orbit launch? Yes, I covered it at the beginning of Space News. I thought it was awesome. Mr. Worldwide wants to go fast. In this configuration, the spring is most likely a fail-safe device. Keeps it latched even if the hydraulics pneumatics fail. Either that or it's there to add extra static strength to the mechanics as load decreases during flight. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Sort of, yeah. That's dude, Savvy. All I'm looking at here, all I see is a car strut. That looks like a car that's on bags. It isn't, but not really. A car on bags wouldn't have springs, but they could. What is the term that's the opposite of the compression of compressed for springs? Tension. You know this. Compression is this way. Tension is this way. It's the same principle as a coilover. Yeah, pretty much. Actually, Savvy, this looks like transverse suspension, dude. I forget if it was you that I was talking to that did Formula SAE. But here, there's such thing as pushrod suspension or transverse suspension. And here, I'll show you guys see that. You guys see that? And here, look at this. Check this out. You want to see some Kraken tech in real life? So here, take a look. That's what we're looking at here. You have your latch. Latch is on a pivot. It's triangulated pivot right there. So there's a pivot right here and there's a pivot right there. This Heim joint is on the end of the hydraulic right there with a spring that's attached to another pivot point for the pneumatic or hydraulic. Now look at this. Literally the same thing. There's your triangle right there. But in this case, this is using a gas strut for rebound and a spring for, as Rex said, for bound. There's bound and there's rebound. Crazy idea. Maybe a shock absorber. When it's caught landing, yeah, maybe. But it's part of the decoupler, dude, so who knows? Yeah, that was you. Okay, cool. Yeah, yep. You did Formula SAE, let me see. So, in this case, the tire moving up and down, guys, is the latch. The tires go up and down on the car, right? That's the latching mechanism. So tire going up would be the thing unlatched, right? And tire going down would be the thing latched. It's literally pushrod suspension, but they're using it as a decoupler. Oh, that's cool. There it is again, right there. Dude, look at the freaking angle. Yowza. Why do they mount so high on the car in the rendering? Little here. Okay, so you can keep the car's overall mass closer to the ground if you're using transverse suspension like this. So in a regular design, right? A regular design would have the strut attached to the lower control rod, and the strut would go up here, and its mount point would be up here. That's called a McPherson. That's called a McPherson strut. Now, McPherson struts are good. Most cars use McPherson struts nowadays. Right? There's about as simple as a suspension of suspension that you can get if you want, not a solid axle. Solid axle is even simpler than this. Like what I have on my truck. My truck has 2 solid axles on it. It is also way simpler than this. So, in this design, right? In this design, you have the strut mount. The strut mount is up high. So that means you need a car that's high up off the ground. You don't want that with a race car. With a race car, you want to keep all your mass as close to the ground as possible, right? So you have less moment relative to the ground. If the center of mass of the car is high, what happens? It's going to tip over because the dry mass of the car has moment over the springs, right? So it'll just flip, right? Race cars need to be as close to the ground as possible. The closer your center of mass is to the ground, the better the car will handle because you have less angular momentum from the body going around a corner. I think I said that right. So mounting this sideways and putting it on a triangle allows you to make a car that's lower to the ground. So in that setup, the coilovers are acting directly on the lower A-arm. In that config, you want them to be as upright as possible because of cosine losses. Yep. Yeah, Savvy, I noticed that the angle there, that's exactly what popped into my head, believe it or not. Let me go back. The angle here is on that's the rear suspension, right? So this is the front. Yeah, you're gonna take a gnarly cosine loss there. How did you? I mean, that must be a really stiff spring, dude. It was the first design I did. I was a sophomore. Hadn't had much experience. The next one had rockers. Yeah. I was going to say, that spring must have been really freaking stiff, dude, to be able to hold that tire up and the engine up at that angle, man. Yeah, cosine loss. Just like on a rocket motor. That's cool. Not bad, dude. Not bad for another design. Yeah, you're getting there. You're honing in on it. That's cool, man. Formula SAE is a race car tournament that we have over here for mechanical engineers to enter to understand, well, physics. Dynamics, I guess. That coilover could run on a trophy truck. Yeah. I was going to say, dude, that thing must be super stiff to be able to run like that. Yeah, Formula SAE is gnarly. I'd love to do it. But I don't think you can enter. I don't think it's for everybody. Don't you have to be you have to have like a university team or something? Not just over here. Germany would come over and kick everybody's butt. I like how this channel explains car physics in terms of rocket physics. How backward is that? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I guess you're right. I usually try to take rocket stuff, Max, and explain it in car talk because more people understand cars than they do rockets. That and I love cars. BMW sponsored a team and their car was always super nice. Your university does this as well and you have no idea. Oh, yeah? Oh, man. Can you use a horse and buggy analogy? Well, horse and buggies used leaf spring suspension and drum brakes, Kuro, in their kind of last iteration before they got replaced by the automobile. Early automobiles were just basically horse-drawn carts with a motor on it. To enter Formula SAE, you have to be a university team. All students get free membership or super cheap membership. That's cool, man. Neat. I go to community college that has a better machine shop than the university, so we get to help machine the university's Formula SAE parts. Cool. You can't enter as an individual. 24-hour lemons it is, I guess. You ever ask yourself in a moment of quiet meditation, what would have happened if Henry Ford had delivered a faster horse? What is that from? What is that from? I forget. Anyway, back to space stuff. Formula 1000 is probably the closest. Yep. Yeah. Yep. So, in other Starship news here, we have this right there. Check that out. Ooh. RSN seems to be the new hotness for RSN seems to be the new hotness for Raptor naming. Raptor serial number 57. Are those for Tori? Oh, God. It'd be fun to have a rocket simulator that used BeamNG's mass point soft body physics. A lot of crossover there. I agree. That's actually not a bad idea. We can do it, Max. We have the technology. That naming scheme is dead. It's actually RC now for gimbalable and sea level raptors. Tori's still waiting for his. Oh my God, you guys are freaking brutal. Is there a gimbal on that thing? Yeah, you're looking at it. It's this piece right here. That's the top part of the gimbal. There's the gimbal mount. And then the actuators, we can't see. It looks like they're not installed. See that sucker right there? That's your gimbal. That's the bottom part of the gimbal right there. And then there's your left-right hinge. And then there's the axle for the forward and back hinge. Gimbal. This explains the new naming. Here are the current naming conventions as I understand them. Ship number, booster number, Raptor center, Raptor booster, Raptor vacuum. So S, B, RC, RB, and RVAC. Cool. BeamNG has the technology. Not sure if their sim is happy with floating origin, but everything else would work. I love Beam, Max. I used it to teach people about cars. 3 freaking... Forget twins, guys. 3 of them. There's 3, Basil. 3 triplets, Basil. Triplets. All right, and we have a new video from NSF that was from yesterday, and then actually there's a couple of new ones here. So let's keep going. Let's keep going with the space news and see what we can see. All right, Willie. See you, buddy. Looks complicated. Will it run Crisis? I mean, probably, Kieran. Whoa, hey, hello. Same, I followed it since it was just a tech demo. That damn pickup truck, dude. I remember watching that pickup truck hit the wall for the first time, and I was like, I love it. Yeah, the 7th section, I think, is being hoisted today. I think it's up there right now. Imagine the amount of modeling needed for BeamNG. Yeah. So when are you playing Wreckfest? I don't know. Yes. This launch site is going to need super tall lightning protection, right? I'm pretty sure they'd put that on top of the service structure, Bill. Just a thought. Oh, look. Just 2 starships. One of them has flown and came back down and landed in one piece. Don't get me wrong, every starship has landed, but that's the only one that landed in one piece and stayed in one piece. It's attached to the crane, but it's not lifting yet. Thanks, Mappy. This new video has some great shots. Looks like they now allowed people on the road that runs through the production site. You can get right up to SN15 and 16. Cool. Watching everything fold around the rigid frame and the hood crumple. To be honest, I'm surprised more hasn't been done with that engine. Yeah, Max, it's actually a really good engine. Maybe I'll model you. If I model a plane, dude, I'll model a Cessna 152 and then we'll put it in. Because Beam does have aero simulation. I'm not sure the fidelity of it, but it does have aero simulation in some way, shape, or form. So I finished Failure is Not an Option and finished Ignition. What's the next rocket book you should buy? Riding Rockets by Mike Mullane. You'll like that one. I don't think they terminated it, Snickers. I think it popped. Oh, there's the new barrel section being made. Yeah, I was a backer for NCG back in the day, Hillness. Rocket Boys is a good one. Yeah. Yeah, there are welds there, Da Vinci. They're there. Yeah, I don't know how they do their aero. A Cessna would fall apart like tissue paper with an impact, pretty much. One thing that I enjoy about Beam is that Max Q would be a real issue to play with. I know, Core. Yep. GLaDOS is in those tents. That's right. There's the 7th segment right there. Also a Dodge. Oh, okay. All right. This looks bizarre. This looks bizarre sped up. Okay. All right. Even one of those segments, man, that's like as big as the apartment block that I live in. Jeez. Maybe as tall, not as big, but still. Warning, launch tower crossing. Took a flight in his house for the first time yesterday. One of my buddies took you up. That's cool, Moto. Those transporters, do they auto level? Yes. Yeah, they can level. You could tell them to do that, or you could get them to not do that. I know, Jim, right? The road is banked.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Think this will buff out? Nah, yeah, Hillness, just, yeah. Nah, just sell it. No low ballers, you know what you got. Iron Spark, Tier 2 4-month resub. When you can actually say, can the launch tower be a little bit to the right? Yeah, look at this. Look at this. Is that something? Oh, lower the crane. Any news if they're going to be able to launch any more out of Boca Chica? I heard they went over there, agreed. Yeah, they're redoing that. Yeah, they'll take care of that. Dude, look at the size of that bracket. Yikes. You know how heavy that bracket needs to be to have to be carried on a frickin' gooseneck? What is that? So if he just got back, did we make it through the storm, or is this all a dream? I used to read Word Up magazine. Wait, what? Lift points for the tower segments. Oh, just got your umbrella. Got to stay cool. Got a little elevator there. Imagine being a redhead construction worker down there. Oof. Oof. It looks like this is what they're going to use to test Super Heavy here. That is an absolute piece of chunk of metal. Holy crap. Looks like they're putting up more berms here. This is around the landing pad from what I can see. Man, that thing is up there. Jeez, that crane is an absolute unit. Dude, look at the crane flex. See it going like this? I wonder how much that crane operator's making an hour. Crane operators make pretty good money, MacB. Yeah, make pretty good money. And here's some shot of some water. Cool. Yeah, the heck with climbing all those stairs. Yeah, that must suck, right? Alright. Guys, I gotta stretch my back here. We got one more NSF vid here, and then we'll go from there. Gotta stretch my back. It's really, really bothering me. Had to take a knee for a second. I'll be back in a moment. Enjoy the vidya. I have herniated discs in my back, and sometimes it locks up. I just pull up, like stand in a door jam karate, and I just pull up on my back, and then I get the Bengay. And then take a couple of Advil. That usually makes it go away. I would have expected an upgrade to the 11350, but nah. All right, what do we have here? Let's take a look. We can go back a little ways. What the frick is this? What it booster transport stand stage next to high bay? How many of those are there? How many of these Automawatses do we have? It's got to be around 20, yeah. That's right, Bobby. Yeah, triangles. Seven per quarter turn. Huh. Here, let's see. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is that a quarter mutter? Or is that a quarter? I can't tell. So every 3 sections is a quarter turn. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There is 20. Yeah. Yeah, there is 20. The reason I bring it up is because the orbital hold down stand, or the orbital launch table that they're working on, would be this way relative to the camera, has 20 attachment points on it. It has 20 swing arms on it. So I'm gonna go ahead and guess that if this is a booster transport stand, it's gonna latch onto Super Heavy's attachment points, and if there's 20 attachment points, that would mean that the stand with those 20 swing arms, there's your 20 attachment points. Has there been any other space news other than Starship? Plenty. Head back into the VOD, dude. You'll see it. Nice hat. What year is that from? This one? Question. Max, it is wobbly. Life imitates art, I guess, dude. Jeez. Oh, so it's new. The Asteroid Day people gave it to me, Squishin. Oh, yeah. Truck. Nice rainbow, though. You're so cold. I thought I knew you so well. You're so cold. What, rainbow? All right, jeez. Can't break away from the spell. Any ETA on the auto strut through docking ports? No, but I know it's coming in one of the hotfixes for 112, Savvy. I'm pretty sure. I have it on pretty good authority. Trying to imagine looking out over a field of like 100 starships. Will SN16 go orbital? I don't think so, Snipple. I really don't. I think that SpaceX wanted to shoot for orbital. I think they ran into something that they couldn't simulate when it came to their thermal protection systems. Because, okay, all right. Let's think about this for a second, all right? Let's do a little critical thinking exercise. All right, so your SpaceX. SN15 launches, and then it lands. What's been the modus operandi up until now? What's been like standard operating, right? Standard operating has been a starship has blown up, and you pick up the pieces and you get ready to launch the next one, right? 16 is pretty much finished. SN16 is pretty much done. 17 is in pieces, probably like maybe 30 or 40% completed. So what do? SN15 lands. So what would you think? What would you think SpaceX would be doing, right? Everybody thought, oh, yeah, they're going to put 16 on the pad right away and see if they can duplicate the results. That's what I thought when 15 landed. That's what I thought they were going to do. But something changed, right? I noticed like 2 days after 15 landed, I noticed something. You know what I noticed? 15 was still on the pad. It was just sitting there doing nothing. And work had totally stopped on SN16 once they finished it. And 17 they threw in the bin. So, why? Well, why? Okay, so, and they've since just placed SN16 at the side of the road, right? Or refly SN15, right? Yeah, they just placed SN16 and 15 just basically on the side of the road. They're sitting there with the Max Q test stand that they had, and they're doing nothing with it, right? Well, they're not doing nothing with it. Who knows? So, okay. Then we heard from Elon that they are going to shoot for orbital. Orbital is where they're going to go with this, okay? So SN20 is going to fly orbital, right? I think Rule 8 and the moon had something to do with it. Why would them doing an orbital flight test to test the heat shield have to do with a lander on the moon, Coley? I don't think so. I don't think that's correlative. I get it. Starships is cool and all, but sincerely, we give 20 minutes of coverage to super cool. I get it, Starship is cool and all, but we gave 20 minutes of coverage to Super Cool and Extremely Critical, Virgin launch, 5 minutes to the Soyuz launch, and now we'll spend 2 hours trying to understand what mechanism. SpaceX watch, I get it, it's extra freaking cool for me too, but come on, there are more interesting things to cover. Sincerely, I don't get all this fanatic EV coverage that Starbase gets. Yeah, you say you get it, but Swishy, I don't think you do. I don't think you get it at all, to be honest with you. It's not every day you get to see literally iterative construction on a Saturn V class rocket being put together. It's very rare that you get day-to-day updates in any time during the space program. We've never had this unprecedented amount of access into like any rocket company ever. So you say you get it, but dude, I respectfully think you don't understand how crazy this actually is. Like, I'm not trying to be a jerk. Like, I don't think you get how nuts this actually is. This does not happen. Like I led with the Soyuz launch and the Virgin launch. Like, I don't know what else you want to hear. Like, and every time the Russians show them putting Soyuzes together, I'm pretty sure I religiously show that on stream, dude. I don't know what you want. I'm gonna keep going with this though, okay? So now, after 15 landed, they put 16 aside and they scrapped 17. 20 is gonna go to orbit. Now we know from the FCC filing that they're going to test something with the heat shield, right? They basically need to do a heat shield test. So, I mean, I lost my train of thought in what I was trying to explain, but it's okay. Long story short, SpaceX is going to shoot for orbital because there's something with their thermal protection systems that they can't figure out through simulation. They have to actually go and test it. And they want to make sure that their simulations are accurate. So getting a baseline for your heat shield and then doing more like fluid dynamic simulations based off of your flight test is not a bad way to do things. NASA did that with the Orion capsule with the Exploration Flight Test 1 or EFT-1 in 2014. That was basically a bare bones boilerplate Orion with a real heat shield on it. So basically SN20 is going to, for the most part, generally just be like this with a real Starship heat shield on it. It's gonna basically have an empty payload bay It's not going to be a full fidelity starship, but it'll be close. Just like the Orion, it's basically going to be a boilerplate starship. Because they need to test the heat shields. That's basically what happened. Now, like, I'm trying to think about the scope of this. Like, why you would switch right to heat shield design. And it comes to just basically how rockets are tested. The only other thing I can even remotely compare Starship testing to is to the space shuttle, right? Because that's the only thing that even comes close to what Starship can do in terms of capability, right? I'm talking like going up, coming back down, landing, etc., etc. Now, if you look at it, what was some of the first things that they tested with the space shuttle? So what happens if SN20 fails on re-entry? They'll probably just make another one and launch it. Yeah, it looks like a small starship tied to a big starship for sure, for sure. I'm still not sure if flying BN3 is a good idea. Putting a whole stack that could fail within seconds of liftoff is not complication Elon needs. I mean, he clearly disagrees with you, but he's been wrong in the past. He was wrong about using helium inside of the header tanks. That didn't end well. Anyone? Space shuttle? What did they test on the space shuttle first? They did approach and landing tests first. They basically did the equivalent of hopping with the space shuttle, right? To test the shuttle's landing capability. That's what they did. They launched Enterprise off the back of a 747-100 named NASA 905, which was a shuttle carrier aircraft. They did the hop tests first. They did the hop tests first. Hop tests. Operative word. So, long story short, if you're making a reusable system, i.e., something that comes back down, you'd want to test the thing that comes back down first. And SpaceX is following that formula. I mean, it's loose. It's a little bit of a loose formula because Starship is a little bit different than past rockets, right? But they are following that formula. You test your second stage first. Or in the case of the space shuttle, you test the shuttle first. Do they test it again as is, or do they redo the shield? It depends on what made it fail, goalie. Yeah, dynamic test stands. They test stacking capability, right? They tested stacking with the shuttle. They green ran the main propulsion section, so they tested thruster systems, and then they did hops. But the shuttle components were the first ones to be tested, right? And then they went for STS-1, which is still bananas in my mind, but hey, whatever. Looks like they're doing a safety breeding behind the 11350. Cool. Did Buran do any physical testing? Yes, OKGLI is what you want, Sea Dragon. They just attached some jet engines to the back of a Buran test article and flew it around. Yep, Buran follows that exact same testing regime. So they're trying to finalize Starship's design before they really focus on Super Heavy. So that's probably why the boosters are being iterated on so fast. Why Booster 3 is different than Booster 4. 2 was basically completely thrown out the window. 1, they built it and then they put it in the recycle bin. You know what I mean? So that rapid iteration with the boosters shows me that there is a component, or tells me that there's a component on Starship, the thermal protection system, that needs to be finalized. They want to get that finished because you want to finalize Starship before you finalize Super Heavy, right? So another way to put this would be like, okay, great, you can launch it into space. If it doesn't land, who cares, right? If we launched STS-1 up into space and John Young and Bob Crippen went through re-entry and they had to jump out the side because the shuttle had no landing gear or whatever, because they didn't do any approach and landing tests, right? It would seem pretty stupid, right? That's a pretty dumb test. You have to make sure that the landing components work first, not last, even though they're the last thing to be used in the mission. It's almost like you have to engineer it backwards. You have to engineer from the top of the rocket down, just like you do in KSP when you're building a rocket, which is interesting, right? PSA, Buran Orbiter, Best Orbiter, thank you for returning to your normal programming. Yeah, I too like throwing away my upper stage engines. It's fine. Been lurking all day. Today was an awesome day for space. Thanks for the content. No problem. Can't they do some tests with SN16's heat shield? I think Elon has said, Bauxy, that they might do a hypersonic test with the heat shield. But you got to remember, 16 doesn't have a... For all we know, 20's heat shield and 16's heat shield are different, for all we know. And with a system like this, proving that they can return reliably and repeatedly is key to ever having humans on this craft. There you go, Jim. Yep. You gotta make sure it lands before you can launch it into space. So, with that being said, it actually makes more sense that they would, after SN15 landed, they showed that the thing can land if they got enough data from it, that the next test that they would do is a heat shield test. That actually makes perfect sense to me. Now, you couldn't do that with the space shuttle because the space shuttle needed people aboard. It couldn't be flown remote control, which kind of sucks, but that would have been really cool. Baran could be flown remote control, which is pretty rad. So, Jim, that tells me, they got the flaps working, right? And they got the landing burn figured out. They don't necessarily have the landing legs figured out, but they've said that they've gone through a couple of different design iterations of that. And I'll bet you they use data based off of SN15 and all the other landings, and probably even 5 and 6 to figure out different variations of landing legs, right? So that tells me that, yeah, they're trying to finalize Starship's design before they finalize Super Heavy, which is pretty concurrent for any type of partially reusable or reusable rocket. You design it from the top down, not from the first stage, second stage, then third stage. Also, hi Jamorian, how are you? Imagine how many design iterations they'd need to do with a lunar version of Starship, adding all those engines halfway up. I think, Kiranov, that the landing system for Starship HLS is basically just something that goes inside of the payload bay. Seriously. The big issue on Starship is still the autogenous pressurization issue. SN15 could have been lost had it not been for the fact that they kept 2 engines all the way down. Well, they'll get that data, Thomas, when 20 attempts to become a boat. You're going to get that data anyway. You might as well shoot it off into orbit to get it, to test it out. But once again, Thomas, that tells me that that's not the least of their concern. That's low on the totem pole for fixing. I mean, think about it, dude. Why would they jump right to heat shield testing if they weren't sure about landing? It's one step too far, right? It's one step. That doesn't make any sense. So I'm thinking here that there is a pressing design issue with those tiles and that heat shield on Starship that needs to be solved in order for iterative designs for Starship to keep going. They need to get over this hurdle. Just like the shuttle needed to get over those approach and landing tests. They had to make sure the thing could fly. It wasn't designed to fly down here. It was designed to fly up there. So they had to make sure that it flew, Please answer Crafter's question. Okay. Why don't ULA and SLS have to do hop tests? I mean, we have 30 years of flight testing on segmented solid rocket boosters and RS-25 derived motors. I'm pretty sure that's the reason. Will Lunar Starship have any sea-level Raptors? I would assume not. I'm not sure, Sea Dragon. I don't think SpaceX even knows at this point. But we won't find out anything about HLS until the blackout period goes away in about a month. Basically because Dynetics and the national team protested the HLS contract award. They're now reviewing all the events that led up to SpaceX being awarded the HLS contract, and during this period of time you don't want to talk about HLS. There's no official HLS information, no nothing, because you don't want a conflict of interest. You don't want something affecting the judgment of the adjudicators that are kind of, I say adjudicators, it's basically like a jury, it's like when the jury goes and tries to find a verdict. That's basically what's going on. They do it what's it called? They do it without being deliberate. Deliberate? I don't know. The word's on the tip of my tongue. It's the beginning of August. You can test landings anyway if you go orbital, just not vertical fall, since deorbiting is all about horizontal speed. You can test landings anyway if you go orbital and not just vertical fall, since deorbiting is all about horizontal speed. I know what you're trying to say, Balxy. Yeah, I got you. Don't want any biasness zone. Yeah, they have to make sure it's unbiased. They make sure there's no conflict of interest. I forget what the term is. But yeah. So we won't hear anything about HLS pretty much from anyone until August. I hope the GAO talks to everyone. I still can't believe that, Phil. My confidence in the Government Accountability Office just went into the toilet. Like, because Phil, you got to think about it. Well, not you got to think about it. You know, like, just picture this in your head. A Government Accountability Office literally has no accountability. They stated some things about ULA and about Blue Origin and didn't even talk to them about said statements, and then issued that as a government report. The Accountability Office has no accountability. Like, dude, if you're Tory Bruno, what do you do with that? If you say no, they're wrong, they're gonna get pissed off at you. If you say no, they're right? Like, what are you gonna do? That now everybody thinks your engines are stupid. Now everybody thinks your rocket design is dumb, and your company suffers a public relations disaster. Like, do you know? Like, Tory Bruno doesn't seem like the kind of guy that would go and say that out of the blue. I think they forced his hand with this one. Isn't that how Rule 8 works? Too real, Scary. Too real. GAO! GAO! The Government Accountability Office. You know what they need? They just need accountability buddies. They just need accountability buddies. Vacuum Raptors have no gimbal, Sea Dragon. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you think SpaceX should use Starship to build transfer stages while they work on the orbit refueling? Starship is the transfer stage, Wii Sports. Can you sue the Government Accountability Office? I'm not sure, Ando. I don't think ULA is going to sue, but think about, you know, like, yeah, Tory Bruno to go on Twitter just relatively public forum and be like, no, they're wrong. They didn't even talk to us about this. They're absolutely 100% incorrect. Like, I have no faith. Like, it sounds so stupid, but I have no faith in the Government Accountability Office if they have no accountability. Like, what you should be doing is in your name. What happened here? Like, I don't understand. Why is this a thing? I guess, Rogue. Budget cuts. Savage. Man, look at all these drones that SpaceX is using to watch over their equipment. See them right there? Bunch of drones. Oh, that's it. Budget cuts, Thomas. They spent all the budget on the drones. That's right. Makes sense. Storage area off Remedios Avenue. There's that damn thing. What is this? What kind of place is this? What is that thing? I still can't figure it out. Doosin'. Wait, is this... That's 16, is it not? Isn't that one 15 over there? Maybe there are engine inspection lifts. Yeah, maybe, Varus. Maybe. Yeah, I don't see the lift part of it, but dude, your guess is as good as mine, man. We tried to figure that one out yesterday. I literally have no idea what that is. Just tweet Elon and ask. He likes to talk on Twitter. Yeah, maybe. 16 is the closer one. I was going to say, what is all this? I don't know, Neb. Maybe. freaking huge. Unknown structure. Those are... No. Maybe they're not Heim joints. Maybe they're just sleeved. Yeah, it's got walkways. I don't get it. I don't understand what the heck. Guy, what is this? A rocket catcher? Maybe. Link video at this time. Okie dokie. I don't understand. I still don't. I don't know what this is. Yeah, no problem, Seth. Could it go to on top of the 8th tower section somehow? Maybe. Like, why are there... Beats me. We don't know that for sure, Squishin. I'm not sure. They could. Let me put it to you like that. The structure that's holding it up submitted is just a stand. Well, what's that, Thomas? Sound suppressors? Maybe. That's actually not a bad guess. Maybe. Yeah, see, there's the installation platform, and then there's the booster load simulator right there. It's interesting that those hydraulics that are on the booster load simulator look a lot like the hydraulics that we were looking at the beginning of Starship coverage today with the separator spring on it. They look very similar. There's SpaceX's propellant plant. Propellant? That's what I was going to say. Nice. That's a word. Sure, why not? Just take this dirt pile and just put it over there. GSC Tank 5 midsection in the mid-bay. EJ, I watch the recent Smarter every day and I know how carburetors work now. It's so cool. I thought I knew how it worked, but now I really know how it works. I know how a choke works too now. Yep, Bernoulli's principle, Flykin. The same thing that makes a plane wing work. They use a venturi to get low pressure, right? You use a venturi to get high pressure, and you spray fuel into the part where it goes from high to low pressure at the end of the venturi, and you get fuel atomization that way. Most combustion vehicles do exactly that, Flykin. Yeah, rockets do that. No, rockets don't have carburetors installed on them. Rockets need to atomize fuel. That's really important. That's the only way to get it to explode. Venturi. Yes, Satan? Oh, I'm sorry, sir. You sounded like someone else. The carb footage of the fuel suspended in the air is wild. Venturi to suck in the air and miss the fuel, and bam. Well, you need low pressure, Flykin. The venturi takes the air and compresses it, and then decompresses it on the bottom side of the carburetor, and that's where the jets are. That's where you spray fuel. You have to spray the fuel in a mist into low pressure. That's very important. That's really important. Or the fuel won't atomize then. You don't get an air-to-fuel mixture that goes into the motor. What do you make of this? Let's take a look. Have you ever talked to Destin? No, I don't know Destin. I should do that. You should talk to him. You should be like, hey, what up, man? I can show you the carburetors on my damn truck. Well, on the carb, they showed it sucks the fuel itself. No mechanical jets, just a hole. Holes. Here. That hole in carburetor nomenclature, that hole is called it's a jet. It's a metering, it's a type of metering valve. That's, see? You can change the diameter of the jet. That's that hole. If you want to spray more fuel into the carburetor, you can achieve a higher fuel flow with the carb if you change the jet. See what I'm talking about? It's not an injector. No, not an injector. Yep, and it all works on vacuum, dude. Freaking mechanical computer. It's not. But, yep, all works on vacuum pressure. Pretty cool, huh? It's smart, right? Carbs were huge. There wasn't much innovation to... Well, I'm not going to say that there wasn't much innovation. We found out better ways to do it. We found out better ways to do carburetors over time. But carburetors were on cars from basically since they were incepted, right? Inception made sense in the late 1800s, pretty much to the 1980s. Yeah, carburetors were standard issue on cars for about 70 years. Yeah, pretty nuts, huh? I want to work on a carburetor now. Okay. Go to the dump or recycling center near you and go and get a lawnmower engine. Lawnmower engines have little bitty baby carbs. They're about this big. Little bitty baby carburetors. Some dang cool footage. We can check that out if in a little bit if you want. Holy buckets. Oh, I'll have to check that out, Scary. I'm tempted, plus I bet they're free. Yeah. Or you could just buy one. A carburetor for like a car flyking is like $400, so go to the dump and go and get one if you want to mess with it. Yeah. Take it apart. You'll see the float, the needle, the seat, the float bowl, accelerator pump, butterfly valve, and the carburetor jet. It's not complicated, dude. This is what I mean when I say it's not complicated. Old cars are simple. They're really easy to work on. They look a lot more difficult than they are. Either way, yeah. Carbs are cool, man. Or I could I'll freaking... I think I have a spare one in the garage somewhere, dude. I'll take it apart on an auto stream someday if you want. I think the Coronet's carburetor actually could be rebuilt soon. It needs to be rebuilt. Ethanol fuel ruins carburetors. The fuel with ethanol additives in it really, really, really makes the carburetor unhappy. Yep. You could source an old motorcycle one. Yep. There you go. Aerobots. Yeah. They're interesting, Flagon. They're cool pieces of equipment, dude. For what it does, it makes a fuel mixture. Flagon, rocket engines. Rocket engines do the exact same thing. But you want a little glimpse into how complicated rocket science actually is? Think about this for a second. Let this one weigh in, all right? This will really activate your almonds. No. Okay, so take a gas-generated engine. Take a gas generator engine like the Merlin 1D, for instance. So it has a pintle injector. A pintle injector is basically a fuel and oxidizer delivery system, right? That works similar to if you had a garden hose in your hand and it's shooting water out. You put your thumb over it, it sprays it sideways. It's called a radial injector. That's what a pintle injector is. Usually injectors spray in a cone, right? Like a fuel injector on a car will spray that air-fuel mixture in a cone. Carburetors just mix it, and then you put it wherever you need to through the intake runners, right? A rocket engine, with that radial injector, there's a radial injector for oxidizer, and then there's a radial injector for kerosene, right? A rocket engine has to... Okay, so now you have liquid fuel, and you have oxidizer inside of your rocket engine. You need them to chemically combine to create combustion. You need them to atomize. In order to get them to atomize, you need low pressure. How are you going to do that? How do you make low pressure inside of a rocket engine? Literally inside of the combustion chamber. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why rocket science is extremely difficult. You need to atomize fuel and somehow blow it up in the same spot. Or else your rocket engine doesn't rocket engine. Nuts, right? Like a fire sprinkler? Yeah, pretty much. It's a radial injector. Yeah, that's how the Merlin engine's fuel injection system works. It's a radial fuel injector. And do it continuously. Yep. Why are we even using ethanol anyways? I don't know. Biofuels, not fossil. I don't know. So, an injector plate on a rocket engine is doing just that. It's atomizing fuel and it's doing it at low pressure, but it's doing it inside of a rocket engine that's also extremely high pressure. You know the chamber pressure on these things is really, really high. Crazy, huh? That's one of the things that makes rocket science difficult. And this is why ITAR, like the trafficking arms regulations, laws don't show injector plates, because the injector plate is the Achilles heel of a rocket engine's design. If you figure out how that works, you can make rocket engines do whatever. That's getting that atomization and explosion happening in kind of the same space is one of the things that's like one of the super protected things. And no, I'm not going to say how to do it. I don't know how to do that, to be honest with you. Shh, don't tell anybody. So Seafoam's job just to clean the carburetor. Seafoam gets rid of carbon deposits. Dude, yeah. Colton, your dad used to mix jet fuel into gasoline and go racing on the dirt track in the old days. He said it burnt the pistons out real fast. Yeah, probably. Oh, you don't know? Unfollow. Swishio, if I knew how to do that, I would not be a Twitch streamer, man. Unfollow. So Seafoam cleans a lot of things out, dude. A rocket does. I mean, for what it's worth, a rocket does have this. But car engines have a lot of carbon soot buildup. They have a lot of deposits that basically get compacted up against the piston. Seafoam shakes off those deposits because the shape of the top of the piston really matters for efficiency. That's really important. You basically want to get the maximum force of that explosion pushing that piston down. So just like the shape of an intake on a jet engine will denote performance, the shape of a piston and the piston's composition will really, 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 really change the way the rocket engine works. Change the way the car engine works. Sorry, I'm thinking about like rockets and cars at the same time. Let's just put rocket engines on car engines. Problem solved. Then this conversation makes sense. All right, back over here. I don't know what you're talking about, Squishton. I don't know, Everest. Yeah, I was sorry. I had something in my throat. Reliant Robin. All right, so what do I make of this? Phil, what specifically are we looking at here? So it's booster 3 on its transportation mount. So that's the mount that we saw yesterday, from yesterday's video. The strut piece on the right, this thing right here. So I see the latching mechanism, and this thing is very clearly on the pad, right? It's not on the pad, it's on the transportation stand. This is very clearly the bottom of Super Heavy, right? It houses a gigantic composite overwrap pressure vessel. There's a COPV in there, Thomas? I know they use a similar structure to mount the flaps on the starships. Oh yeah, I can see the COPV right there. Yeah, okay. Now, what about this thing? What is this thing down here? That would actually make sense since there isn't enough space inside. Huh. So I have a couple of questions here. What the hell is this? What? Okay, so that's a mount for the COPV. Do you need a bracket that big to mount that thing? Probably not. What are these? What are those? As the white boys say on the internet, what are those? No, seriously, what are we looking at here? There's a pipe that comes out. Now, what I'm wondering here is that we also have a couple of slots in the aft skirt here on booster 3. And then there's some clear, crazy reinforcement happening going on over here. Beginning of the hydraulic tail fin landing legs. Well, Mob Crusher, SpaceX has said multiple times that they're not going to... Super Heavy doesn't need landing legs. They're going to try to catch the damn thing. My guess it's for temporary RCS, just like they did on 5 and 6. All right. Well, okay, Mason, let's look here. See, there's a slot in the aft skirt right there. See that little hole right there? It's not a hole. It's kind of a rectangle. I'm seeing that multiple times recurring. There's one right there that's very similar. There's one right there that's very similar. Now, here's what EJ thinks it is. Here's what I think it is. Okay? I think what we're looking at here is some kind of fixed landing leg. Why? Or at least kind of a prototype of one. Why? Well, we know that the first booster, right? Booster 3 is going to be tested, right? For ground testing. So they may have put one on there as a, placeholder just to see how to put it together, right? Booster 4 is going in the drink, right? From the orbital flight test, right? And then maybe I have a guess that Booster 5 or whatever Booster 5 is going to be something like Grasshopper. Now, this isn't the first time SpaceX has done something like this, okay? Falcon 9, serial number 2, so B1002, is Grasshopper. The first Falcon 9 went into space. First Falcon 9 first stage, 1001. That went into space. 1002 became Grasshopper. That was used for suborbital, or not suborbital, that was used for hop testing. My guess, and this is a huge guess, is that SpaceX is going to do something very similar. Booster 3 is probably going to be used for tests. 4 will be used to yeet something into space, just like Falcon 9 serial number 1 was. And then 5 will have some type of fixed landing leg structure on it. Because you'd want to get some hop data with your super heavy booster, right? You'd want something. At least do something like SN5 to make sure that you can pinpoint land with it. I'll check that in a second, right? You'd want something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and guess that that's some kind of temporary leg mount. That's what I think. I could be wrong, though. I'm straight guessing. It is rumored that Booster 3 might get landing legs of some kind. It's possible. Thomas, dude, what I'm really thinking is that hop tests for the first stage, voice crack, hop tests for the first stage are inevitable. You have to do it. You're going to have to do it at some point. Yeah, I get it. They can use Falcon 9. They can use a lot of data and telemetry from Falcon 9. But just because your 737 flies correctly doesn't mean that, that proves that your 757 flies correctly. You know what I mean? Even though it's very similar, it's not. But you see what I'm saying? Super Heavy is a whole different beast than from Starship. Even Starship SN5, right? It's a whole different experiment. You're going to have to get some hop data somewhere. They're going to have to test it at some point. And if they're going to test it, they have to do something like what we did with Neptune way back in the day. I built a BFR-style booster in KSP one time. And now keep in mind, it wasn't Starship at the time. It was BFR. With a 9-meter core. And I tried to make landing legs for it, and it did not work. It was too heavy. Landing legs only work at a certain mass. The landing legs would have had to have been huge. So you know what I did? I just put 4 I-beams down, right? And I tied the I-beams right into the tank structure, and it just landed on 4 posts. That's it. I think they're going to do that with Super Heavy at some point. They're just going to put some temporary landing legs on it or something. And go from there. Very similar to SpaceX's Grasshopper. SpaceX's Grasshopper is a Falcon 9, and it does have a Merlin engine in it, right? Like a Falcon 9, and this is a Falcon 9 body. It's a Falcon 9 first stage rocket body, but they have some kind of weird, wonky custom landing legs on this thing with suspension and everything. See, they have a damper on it. See that? Voice crack. Yeah, we got a number 1 victory. All right, sorry. So I'm pretty dang sure that one of these boosters, it could be 3, it could be 4, it could be 5, one of them is going to have something like this attached to the bottom. This blue part stays with the booster. It flew like that back in 2012. See? Also, that's some really gnarly footage, to be honest with you. You know what? We could just watch that footage. It's pretty crazy. Almost 10 years ago. You don't know how nutty difficult that actually is. That's so tough to do that. The fact that it can just sit there and not tip over is unbelievable. It's really, really, really impressive. Guys, like, okay, another thing to consider here, that thing has no RCS on it. No reaction control systems, no grid fins. Grasshopper is staying upright literally from the rocket engine's gimbal. That's insane. That is insanely precise for just a rocket motor. But once again, this paved the way to Falcon 9's doing exactly what we saw this afternoon, landing spot on pinpoint after going to space and back. This was the precursor to it. Why is it filmed in 4:3? Because I don't know. It wasn't 10 years ago. It was almost 10 years ago. It's friggin' impressive, dude. That's friggin' impressive. For no RCS, no gimbal, no nothing. That's really... Now show them the Delta Clipper. Yeah, Delta Clipper did the same thing in the early 90s with RL-10s and Hydrolocks, which is still... That's ridiculous, man. This was 2012, guys. Yep. So this was... My point... The point that I'm trying to get at is that the last time SpaceX was developing a new launch vehicle... 10 years ago, with Falcon 9, the last time they did this, they started with something that really didn't look a lot like Falcon 9 at all. Does this look like the Falcon 9 that flew this afternoon? No. The only thing that it has in common is, for the most part, that it is cylindric and white, and it says SpaceX on the side. That's about it. So I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb here and guess that the booster that's going to shoot SN20 into space, so booster 4, booster 3, they're not going to look like Super Heavy. They're not going to look like whatever Super Heavy becomes. They're going to look very different, just like that looks very different. And I do believe that one of the boosters will probably find landing legs like this on it at some point. And if you ask me, that's exactly what we're looking at here. This could be some type of pneumatic deploy system for a landing leg. It definitely seems like, see that slot right there? Like there's other slots. There could be other mounting brackets or other mounting points for this thing. Who knows? Please call me Grasshopper. Let's see the one blowing up. Oh, there's the shot from Transporter. Whoops. I'm just gonna do the right thing and pretend I didn't see that. Fun fact for the Elon Musk fanboys: him and Steve Jurvetson and I think it was Hans Koenigsmann, went and got Dairy Queen after that test because, you know, they needed ice cream to feel better than the thing blowing up. Dairy Queen, Dairy Queen. If you think about how fast the world has developed in 50 years alone, then I have to ask myself, how can it be that we humans are still crawling around on the face of the Earth with semiconductor technology? The latest space probe on Mars has nothing more or less than a normal GoPro installed as a primary visual system. Where are we, please? Well, Fisty, that's a good question, and I think you'd be right to ask that question. Oh, God, Tree, you're killing me. You're killing me, dude. Fisty, I actually kind of agree with you. What the frick, man? We should be further in space, right? Long story short, dude, I would say that we got complacent. I say that it's human behavior that is the reason why we're not further in space, dude. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, and don't get me wrong, the Perseverance rover, it doesn't have like a 486 attached to the back. It's a rad shielded real-time computing processor from the 90s. We talked about it the other day. It's actually pretty cool. But I get it, it's from the 90s, but it's space hardware is a little bit harder to make. But that doesn't excuse, I mean, like, we went to the moon 50 years ago. Dude, the reason why all this, like, I can't speak to the past. I would say that human complacency, I guess, is the problem, right? Like, we stopped dreaming. You know, during the Apollo programs, we're going to go to the moon, and then we're going to Venus, and then we're going to Mars after that. We're going to explore the solar system. We'll be on Pluto by 2000, right? That was like, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. That kind of fell to the wayside when the space shuttle came along because, you know, they tried to basically put NASA on the back burner and try to, you know, have NASA's mission basically change from space exploration to reusable spaceflight technology, which I'd say it did a pretty damn good job in that regard. But yeah, I mean, the reason why you're seeing all this new stuff come along and why SpaceX is coming along and Relativity and Launcher and Firefly and Electron and all this stuff is because manufacturing optimizations. Yeah, manufacturing is cheaper. It's cheaper to manufacture stuff now than it was in the 60s. So that's why SpaceX can do all this nutty freaking stuff because, you know, like computers and the technology for machining at the time in the 60s would not be able to do even what Grasshopper could do. There's no freaking way you could make a booster land vertically in the 60s. That's just not a thing. That would be very, very tough. I mean, I suppose it could have been possible, but it would have been very complicated to do. So, you know, like, it seems like we haven't gone very far in the last 50 years, and yeah, I mean, I think human complacency has a lot to do with it. We got to get back to dreaming. We got to get back to going up into space, dude. And nowadays, we can. Nowadays, we have the technology. We can do it. You mean like this? Yep. That's right, Tree. Blame .com. It's not his fault completely. Why space programs get canceled and why this happens and why, you know, like budget decreases happen and budget increases happen can't be directly attributed to one person. You know what I mean? The closest thing I guess we could come to that would be Eisenhower founding NASA in 1958 and then Kennedy a couple years later asserting that we should go to the moon. But You can't just say, oh, yep, we're going to go to the moon now. It has to be the right conditions, and other people have to agree with you. One person can't denote what NASA can do, you know? So it's never really one particular person's fault, which is, so you can't be like, oh, blame this guy, blame that guy. But yeah, it's a little more complicated than that. Some type of mechanical computer would have been the way to go at the time. Well, Jim, how early ICBMs work, dude, was basically an RC car. Yeah, remote control. They basically just had an antenna on the rocket, and that antenna interpolated a signal, and the computers actually doing the computing were on the ground. It worked pretty well with ICBMs because you only need to control ICBMs until it shuts off, and then just let it, and it's ballistic from there on out. I suppose you could do that with boost back and landing. I don't see why you couldn't. Yeah, but the computers were on the ground because they couldn't miniaturize it. The computer was the size of an office building. It's the size of a freaking office building. They just beamed the telemetry to the booster, and the booster beamed the telemetry back, and that's how it flew. You know. So, Visty, I'll be honest with you. I'm a pretty big exceptionalist when it comes to spaceflight. We should be further in space. There's no excuse that we're not, but I understand the reasons why we aren't. And part of the reason why I do what I do here is to change that mentality. Space is worth it, man. It's not just worth it. We need to go. Like, this hat that I have on is a pretty good example as to why. You know, I always say, and it sounds so corny, I get it. It sounds like I'm, you know, it's like some stupid cheesy sci-fi, but our destiny lies in the stars. You know, our destiny lies up there, not down here. I don't know why my accent changes when I say that, but it doesn't matter. We have to go out there. And today is asteroid day, so now that's a pretty good time to talk about it, dude. If an asteroid big enough is coming towards Earth, there's really nothing we can particularly do right now. That's why asteroid day exists. But don't get me wrong, it's not all doom and gloom. Asteroids, you know, and big pieces of big chunks of rocks and all this other stuff that's floating around up in space, you know, it's not just, oh, we need to be able to push it out of the way. We need to send Bruce Willis up there on a space shuttle to blow it up, right? Actually, blowing it up would be a really bad idea. Just push it. Just push it out of the way. Blowing it up. Oh, great. Now you have a cluster bomb asteroid that's going to hit Earth. That's great. You know, we don't have that. We need to go out and we need to master our environment in space to protect Earth. That helps protect Earth. And it's not just that. Understanding how our solar system works could be critical to, well, our survival and our preservation of this planet. Understanding why Mars is the way that it is. Understanding why Venus is the way that it is can help us, you know, make Earth not end up like those planets. You know what I mean? So, you know, and even asteroids, you know, like asteroids, going back to it, it's not just doom and gloom with asteroids. You can go mine these things. You could live on them. Asteroids would be a great place to put a space station. Inside of an asteroid, that'd be great.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Nuke it. Everest, 9-month resub. Trippy had a 4-month resub in there, and Bandit had a 33-month resub in there.
Discovery, go at throttle
What
up.
is money called in space? Starbucks. You should be ashamed. Geeson also had a tip in there. What did you say for your tip, dude? Thank you for reminding me. So, yeah, dude, I think we should be further. And we can go further with what we have now. It's just, do we want to? In the 60s, it was about being better than the Soviet Union, but Rule people... yeah. I mean, if you want to try and take something as complicated and as fascinating as the space program and boil it down to some Rule 8 rhetoric, I suppose. God damn it, Geeson.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Ren gifted out 5 subs. Thanks, man. Thank you.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
I'm also well aware of the reasons for this. I wish you... You do everything exactly right. Thanks, Fisty. I appreciate those kind words. Hey! Flight Sim gifted out 5 more subs. Dude, you guys have given enough today. Holy crap, dude. I propose that we call our first asteroid that we capture Bad Asteroid. Well, what if it's a good asteroid, Scuzzle? Then what? How do you know? You don't know its personality. That's why I want to live forever, because I want to see it with my own eyes. I don't need to live forever, Liam. Immortality has its drawbacks. You know what it is? You'll get bored after a while. You get really bored after a while. I don't need to live forever. I don't need that. Misunderstood, Eroid. Shut up and ignore this. Shut up and take my money. I'm working towards being your oil prince, EJ. This is about all I can do per paycheck.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
10 subs now? No, please don't do this right now. Please don't do this right now. I have to keep this space news on an even keel. We got to finish this video. Let's go. Flights have gifted 10 subs though. Thank you very much. I love you. Yeah, I know, goalie. We looked at the view of the drop. Isn't it cool? I like the view looking at the back of the rocket as it separates and you can see Old Glory on the top of the rocket. That's pretty damn cool, dude. You could say that I'm mighty proud of that ragged old flag. Hey, Newton. What's up?
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Trippy! Stop that! Squirrel! If you don't take that money,
Discovery, go at throttle up.
it's proof that it'll be lost. Could those be refractors? Who? Who's a refractor?
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Yeah, goalie, it's like 40 degrees positive AOA. It's pretty insane, dude. Can I see a close-up of this again? No, come back.
Discovery, go at throttle
Y'all
up.
come back now. Come here. Oh, no.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
He's in 16 subs. Why are you doing this? Retractors. I don't know, maybe. Thanks, Geeson. Appreciate it, man. I am number 1! Geeson Werben Jaegerman Jensen. He was number 1. Sorry, I'm not a native speaker. Might be that my 1,000-employee bus company might use a few dialects around the world. I don't care if it's doesn't bother me. I understand what you're saying, at least I think. Did I get it right? Sorry if I apologize if I'm speaking too quickly. Tritons had an 11-month reset and Flight Sim gave out 10 more. But Flight Sim, why do you hate me? Is this a subliminal message to try and get me to play Flight Simulator? Is this what's going on? Am I being punked? Where's Aston? Aston!
Discovery,
Am
go
I
at throttle
being
up.
punked? That was 10 more subs, man. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Look what you did!
Discovery, go at throttle up.
God is going bowling now because of you. It's an awesome mod, Snackless, for sure. Have you seen the new Beam update? I haven't played it yet, Tars, but people have told me about it. Flights have gifted out 10 submarinos. Thanks, man. I appreciate all the support, guys.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Shh, BJ, no motive. Okay, that's fine. Look at this! Pythos, look at what I have to do.
Discovery,
Wait,
go at throttle up.
is my arm behind the booster? Let me just reach behind the booster
Discovery,
here.
go at throttle up.
We're friends now. Yep. Nope. Yep. Yep. We're best bros.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Hey, how you doing? Give it a hug? How am I gonna get my other... This is a weird
Discovery,
hug.
go at
Why are we
throttle up.
doing this?
Discovery, go at
Lick it?
throttle up.
I don't want to.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Alright.
Discovery, go at throttle
That
up.
thing is, that alerter, you guys broke the alerter. I'm trying to shut the alerter off and it just keeps going. Engi, 11-month resub. Thank you. What if the rocket starts? Let's assume later. Well, there's no engines on it, Fissy. I don't think it's going to get anywhere, and there's no fuel in it either. Whoa. That thing is freaking gigantic. Yeah. Bum bum dum 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 rain. No, this is the first stage, Chivo. That's the first stage tankage. You're still playing Minecraft, Astro? Nice, nice. Any idea how they would get it out to the pad? It's on the jig that they'll lift up with SPMTs, T-Man. I agree, Hibbit. So about that KSP asteroid mission. What, do you not want to do it? I could just go play the new Beam expansion if you want, Platinum. It's a temporary elevator, from what I can tell. Cool. There's the stand. Still trying to figure out how that bolts up to a super heavy, but oh well. New sign on the Stargate building. You can see the holes on the inside wall. Yeah, right there. Wait a minute. All right, so see how there's you can see the holes right there, right? We know that these arms lever in and out, okay? Can I go back over here? Let me take a look. Right at, where is it? This thing. That guy, right there. Could be an attachment point. But also at the same time, the attachment points are down here. Isn't that using that latching system thing that we saw? Huh. That little guy? I wouldn't worry about that little guy. I agree, Kurama. That's why the pad has an adapter. So look, see the ridges right there? We can clearly see that Super Heavy has a similar attachment system to ground infrastructure as Starship does to Super Heavy. There's just more of those latches, right? There's 6 of them between Starship and Super Heavy from what we saw from the tests. And then there's 20 of them here. See those little ridges right there? How does that go to that? I'll have to think about that one. We'll keep going. I'll have to think about that one. Let's go over here. Crazy how big it is. I wonder how different the orbital version would be. Don't know. Yeah, the tower isn't even finished yet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's going to be another one of these sections up there, and then another one on top of that. It's going to be like 7.5 sections tall. The 8th section is like is half of one of these for the most part. Welding the launch table on the mounts will take a while. It's going to be a lot of welding, Phil. A lot of welding. How come structural stuff looks so cool without even trying? The fact that it's purely functional makes it look cool. Agreed. There's the seventh section. The crane's attached to it right now, guys. I don't think they've lifted it yet. New mission control video. Can we? How much more of this do we have? Let's just... That's the adapter plate. But can we just... I don't think so, Kenny. Dude, she's flying. Look at it. You've got... That thing is... Yeah, I see it, goalie. I see it. It bounced a little bit. This is not filmed by a person, guys. I don't really have anything to say, I'll be honest with you. Look at the angle that it's coming in at. That's all I can say. Like, that thing is flying. It's that rocket is like this. And look at the turn that it takes. Oh my goodness. What's the blowout after shutdown in the middle of the core? Bringing the tanks down from flight pressure, goalie. That's the RP1 tank pressure valve. What's up, Spoon? Isn't the initial trajectory out over water? So yeah, Jim, this booster came, so we're looking right now, this camera looks like it's south of the pad, wherever it is, so we're looking due east right now. The camera is looking east and then it turns to north. So this thing is out over the water. If it just kept going straight down, it would probably land like maybe a half mile off of shore. And the even crazier thing is that first stage was down around Fort Lauderdale like an hour, like not an hour, a minute ago before this. Like, it pushed that thing pretty dang far down range. Maybe not Fort Lauderdale, but it was definitely really far south. It turned around, came back, and they did the boost back burn. They always target the boost back burn over water, right? So if something happens, the booster splashes down. It's only after the entry burn where they freaking, they'll grid fin it back down to the pad, which is why it takes this huge turn right here. It's out over water, it's out over water, still out over water, still over water. Still. Right around here is where it probably crosses over onto land, because the landing pad's right by the shoreline. How did the landing legs get deployed on Falcon 9? It's just like a bike lock opens, and then there's a little lever that flips them to get the landing leg center of mass out beyond the pivot, and then those pistons are just pneumatic gas struts, like the same thing that you'd pop open like the trunk of a car. Like, You pop the trunk and it goes, right, and it stays up. Yeah, that's what those are. They're just a pneumatic gas strut. If you extend it, right, you're putting more pressure inside of the chamber, and when it gets fully extended, it'll just stay like that. It's just basically a locking mechanism and a little rod that flicks the leg out, and the leg pivots down, and then the gas strut expands, and then once it's fully expanded, a locking collet goes, slides down and locks the leg into the open position. Yeah, it's pretty nuts, dude. Yeah, there's a little locking collet that keeps it in the open position. So, yeah, it's ridiculous, man. I don't know what to say. Like, really don't have any word. Like, just one more time. Just one more time. One more time. To me, it looks like the way the camera pivots makes that U-turn look far worse than it is. I guess. Hydraulics don't work very well in space, Glowfly, because the hydraulics don't like having air bubbles in the system, and the way air bubbles work down here is different than up there, so it's really hard to bleed a hydraulic system correctly. Pneumatics are a much better alternative in space. Your rockets go burr. Paul, so all I picture is like Starship coming down, doing something like this, popping out, and then the freaking hatch blows and freaking bunch of devil dogs jumping out the side, like rappelling down the side helicopter style. Go, go! Like, how sick would that actually be? That'd be freaking baller, dude. That'd be the coolest thing to see. Not if they're mad at you. Then it wouldn't be the coolest thing. It'd be the last thing you ever see. But other than that, though, it'd be really cool. November 4th, drummer, is the tentative date.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Hey, Gilmere, 17-month resub. Hope the evening is going well. It's going great. Red Dragon makes a return with ODSTs. Heard the moon has oil. Let's go now. All right, guys. Well, that's the end of space news. I hope you enjoyed it. Now we're gonna do some Asteroid Day stuff. I'm uploading a GIF of that to the Aerospace and Science channel. Okay. Cool. All right. So, let's do this.